What if you could build your very own grocery shopping website from scratch? A sleek, powerful, full-stack platform where users can browse grocery, add items to cart, and check out securely with Stripe payments, all by yourself. Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. Welcome to Grocery Shop, a full-stack grocery shopping website built with MenStack, MongoDB, ExpressJS, React, and Node.js. In this project, we're going to build the front-end, back-end, and admin panel. In the front end, we'll start with the navigation bar, then a stunning hero section with fruits, vegetables displayed on the table. Then we'll build the category section where users can filter items based on their categories. We have all the items here. We have fruit and vegetables, dairy products, meat and seafood, bakery items, pantry staples, frozen foods. Then we're going to build the product display section where we get to see all the grocery items that we have in stock. For each of the items, we have the image, the name of the item, the price, and the button to add to cart. And then we're going to build a very simple footer section that looks stunning as well. Also, we're going to build the login page where users can log in or create an account. We're going to create the orders page. After successful payments, the users are going to see all their orders here. I'm going to show you that the logout page, which is going to lead us back to the login page, and the cart page where users are going to see every item that they've added to carts. We'll also create a powerful backend featuring users' authentication with Bicrypt, JWT for protected routes, Stripe for handling secure payments, and Cloudinary to store our product images, and MongoDB for storing users' products and orders. So these are all the products that we've added. We've added 9 products. Okay. And then we'll set up the admin panel, which is going to lead us to the dashboard after the admin has logged in. And on the admin dashboard, the admin can add products. We start with the image, the name of the product, description, category, price. Then click on this button here, list of all the product that has been added to the database. We have the orders here. We're here to place it here that, okay, we have 2 orders here. Okay, so here, while testing, I tried with these 2 orders. We tried the 2 payments method that we're going to be using, cash on delivery and Stripe payments. And here is to log out. If I click on log out now, it's going to lead me back to the admin login. Okay, now let's get to see this project in action. So first, remember I already clicked on log out, so we need to log in. I'll click on login now. Let me create another account. I'm going to name this account John Doe. So, and the email, I'm going to give it john@gmail.com. And for the password, I'm just going to give it a random password. Then click on sign up. Once you click on sign up, you're going to get a notification here. And we'll be using Toast notification for this notification for this project. You're going to get a notification saying account created successfully, and the user will be logged in into the account. Okay, now that we're on the user's account, you can see we're here on the home page. So on the home page here, you can filter based on your choice. If I click on fruit and vegetable, it's going to display the grocery item that matches with this category. If I click on dairy products, it's going to display the food item that matches with dairy products. If I click on meat and seafood, it's going to display the grocery item that matches with this. If I click on bakery items, it's going to do the same thing as well. If I click on pantry staples, we're going to get the same thing. If I click on frozen food, it's going to be the same thing. So now I'm just going to click on all so that I can see all the list of items that we have here. So now I'm going to add this item to cart, and I'm going to get a notification instantly that would say item has been added to cart. So here we have this notification here, added to cart. I'm going to click on this as well, fresh carrots. I'm going to get another notification telling me that the item has been added to cart. And if we head back to the top, you're going to see in front of the cart, you can see that we have 2 items in the cart. So if I click on cart now, it's going to lead me to the cart page. Okay, so this is the cart page here. We have the cart items, we have our image, the name of the item, the price, a quantity controller. I can increase and decrease the quantity. Okay, and here we have an icon to delete the item from the cart. If I click on delete now, you can see that that item has been deleted. Then below it, we have our cart summary here, where we have the cart totals. Here we have $16, the shipping fee is $12, and the total is $28, right? If I increase this now, you're going to see the subtotal here is $32 because here it is $16 and we have 2 items in the cart. You can see it as well that it has increased in the navigation bar. If I increase it, we're going to get 3 items here in our navigation bar. And now we have $60 as our total fee because the subtotal here is $48 and the shipping fee is $12. Now I'll click on proceed to checkout, which is going to lead me to the checkout page. On the checkout page, you're going to see the payment options. We have 2 payment options: to pay with Stripe or cash on delivery. By default, we set it to cash on delivery. You can decide to pay with Stripe. We're going to test for both. So let's start with cash on delivery. and then you're going to see the shipping address here where the user is going to fill their full name. I'm just going to pick last name, the sample email address, phone number, street address, city, states, country, zip code. And on the right side, we'll see the cart total here. Okay, so this is the subtotal. And now if I click on place order, it will lead me to the orders page, okay, where I can track any of these orders. Okay, so back here, now if we check the admin panel, and now we have nothing in the cart again because the order has been successful, right? Okay, so now I'm going to make another order using Stripe. So I'm going to place an order for fresh organic apples, and I'm going to get a notification that the item has been added to cart. Also, we have our cart count here showing that we have one item in the cart. If I click on cart, then I click on proceed to checkout, I want to use Stripe. I'm going to fill the same name, demo account, a random phone number. This is just testing. Okay, country, zip code, and I click on place order. It is going to lead me to the Stripe checkout page. Okay, so right here it is loading. Now we're on the test mode. You can see the payment is $20, right? The item is fresh organic apples. The price is $8. Delivery charge is $12. Okay, so we're going to enter an email. I'm going to use this demo email. We're going to pay with card. If I click on card now, you need to fill out this card information. So because this is the demo account, I'm not going to be filling my information. So you're just going to search for Stripe dummy card number. I'll click on search, and here this is Stripe documentation. Click on test card numbers. Okay, so once that's finished loading, we're going to see a sidebar where we can test with by country. So right here, I want to test card by country, and I'm just going to pick United States. And right here, I'm going to paste what I just copied. I'm typing in random 2027. Okay, 27. The CVC, I'm just going to select card name. Let's just use this. The state we're testing by country, United States. Zip code, just a random zip code. And I'm going to click on P. And it is going to lead me directly to the orders page. Now, let's check the difference. For the first one, fresh carrots, $16, quantity is 3, payment cash on delivery. For these fresh organic apples, payment is $8, quantity is 1. This is the date here, this is the time. Payment here is Stripe. Okay. Now, if we head to our admin panel, I'm going to log in now. So I'm going to enter the email, then the password as well. And now, if I click on login, it will lead me to the dashboard. Okay, so we stopped at the orders page, and here it says. Okay. So right here we have this new order here that we just made. If we check the time, you can see 5:41 p.m. Okay, we can get the customer's name, the account, the telephone number, the shipping address, the product name, the items, the price, payment method, cash on delivery. Is still pending because this is a testing method, the date, and here we can update the delivery status. So here, if I click on packing, and here, if I track all of these orders, you can see it has been updated as packing. If I click on track order now, nothing is updated, right? Because we're yet to update it on the admin panel. So here, I'm just going to say out for delivery. And now, if we check back now, click on track order, you can see that it's out for delivery. Okay, so this is working perfectly well. We can get the list of all the items that we have, and it is right here in our database. Okay, this is all the users that we've created. Okay, so we have 2 users. The first one, this is the name, this is the ID, the password, which has been encrypted. Okay, their cards. Okay, this user's cards, right? And here the other user as well. This is the ID, the name, the email, the encrypted password, the cards data as well. Okay, and now in our orders, this is our database right here, MongoDB. Okay, we have 4 orders in total. This is the last order. The status out for delivery, payment method is Stripe, the items, the user ID, object, and all of that. So if we check this user ID, we have 68020F is what ends it. Now, if we go back to the users here, you can see that this is the user right here. Okay, the John Doe, which I used to make this order. Okay, this is the user's ID here, and it's the same thing as what we have in the orders. So you're going to learn every single thing that I just explained now You're going to learn every single step from scratch. We're going to be building from scratch. So sit back, relax, and make your fingers dance. Do not forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment on what you want me to build next. Let's get started. Now I'm going to create the folder that we're going to use for this project. So I have a folder where I create all my YouTube projects. I'm going to create this project folder in this folder, and I'm going to name it it's a food ordering website, a grocery shopping website. I'm just going to name it Men Food Ordering. Then I'm going to open this project folder in VS Code. I've opened the project on VS Code. If you want to open yours, just head to File, click on Open Folder. Then you need to look for where you created the project and then click on Select Folder. Okay, so I've done mine. And right here on the sidebar, right click and click on New Folder. I'm going to create my front end folder here. So front end. Now we have the front end folder, which is what we're going to be starting with. On the front end folder, right click again, then click on Open an integrated terminal. And here you're going to run this command npm create vits at latest space full stop, then click enter. And now the next thing you need to do is select framework. I'm going to select React, enter, then I'll select JavaScript. Now I'm going to run this command npm install, then type enter as well. Now that we've successfully installed React, the next thing we need to do, let's check. Okay, we have our source file, app.jsx, app.css, all of that is available. Now we need to install Tailwind. But before that as well, let's see if our app is working. npm run dev is the command that you're going to type. Then you click on enter. This is going to generate the link to view your React app in the local browser. Okay, so here it is. Just hover on it and click on follow link. And here you're going to see your React app. Okay, this is by default what React looks like. Okay, our counter is working, every single thing is working. Let's try to make a change in the text for our app.jsx. Let me just reduce this. Okay, so where we have Vit plus React, I'm going to type in subscribe to my channel. Okay, this is just to remind you to subscribe to my channel. Guys, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe. You can see it here, boldly written. Subscribe to my channel. I'm begging you. Subscribe, share my videos, like them. I really appreciate it. It's not going to cost you nothing. Thank you so much if you have done that. Okay, so let's continue. Before installing Tailwind CSS, I like to do something I call clean up. So we're just going to do some little clean up. So here, Control A, I'm going to delete everything, and I'm going to use this command to generate React snippet, REFCE. Press enter. And here we have it. To use this command that I just typed now, you need to have this extension. You need to have this extension, EX7 React Trados React Native extension. Do well to install this extension. It's going to go a long way. So back to our code. I'm going to delete app.css because I'm not going to need it for this project. Then our index.css as well. Control A, delete it all. Our index.html, we need to change the title to our project title, which is grocery shop. Okay, and now our app.jsx, I'll delete this app here. I'll use an h1 tag, and I'm going to still retype subscribe to my channel. This is another gentle reminder for you to subscribe to my channel if you have not done that. So this is what we should have now. Now let's install Tailwind. So visit the official Tailwind CSS website. I'll hit enter, and it should lead me directly to the website. Then I'll click on docs, which is for the documentation. We're using the latest version of Tailwind, and in the latest version, Vit has its own tab, so we don't need to look for it in the framework guide. And we're going to follow these 5 simple steps to install Tailwind. First, we need to copy this and paste this in our terminal. So here, Ctrl C. Right now, our terminal is working, so I'm just going to type in Ctrl C to terminate the job. Type Y to stop the terminal from working. Then I'm going to paste what I just copied and I've pasted, enter. Then the next step, in our vit.config, on the website it's showing .cs because they expect us to use TypeScript, but we're using JavaScript, so ours is going to be vit.config.js. I'm going to copy this line of code, head back here, look for vit.config.js. After the import React from @vit.js/plugin React, I'll paste what I just copied. And as well, in the plugin section, I'll copy this and I'll do the same thing. Where we have plugin React, comma, paste what I copied again. Tailwind CSS. Next, in our CSS, ours is going to be index of CSS. I'll copy this. I'm going to paste it right here. Where is it? Index of CSS. I'll paste it here. Okay, then we're going to rerun our terminal and we can now start styling. So this is still installing. So our tailwind has been installed successfully. Now let's rerun our project. But before that, let's start. So here, class name, I'm just going to take text 3XL, and the text color, let's give it my fave, purple, 700. And now let's rerun our terminal, npm run dev. Then we'll type enter, click enter, and it's going to give you the link to view your website on your local browser. And here we have it. We hover on it, click on follow link, and now you can see what we have. The text color is purple, and this is the text size. So let's say font bold. Okay, you're going to see that the font is bold. So our tailwind CSS is working. Before we start building, we need to install some necessary packages that we're going to need. We're going to need React icons because we're going to be using icons like delete icon and every other icon that we're going to use for the front end. We're going to install React Router DOM to navigate between pages. We're going to install Axios to make HTTP requests to external backends or backend servers. We're going to be using Axios to send, to put, to delete, to posts, and many more. It's going to undo promises and asynchronous data, all sorts of stuff. So we need to install those three things. We need to install React icons, React Router DOM, Axios, and also React Toastify for our toast notifications. So let's start with React icons, then React Router DOM. Visit the official website. Also React Toastify, and also Axios. Okay, so here, this is the official website for React icons. Okay, ensure you visit this website, and if you're on this page, just click on the installation code. I don't want to stop this terminal, so I'm just going to open another terminal, and I'm going to paste React icons. Then I'll head here to React Router DOM, the official page. Click on the installation code and copy it, and then I'm going to paste what I just copied here. Since my React icon has been installed, I did one package and I edited 166 packages in 10 seconds. Okay, while React Router DOM is installing, I'll head over to React Toastify, click on the official website, and then Axios. And here on React Toastify page, copy the installation code as well. Okay, React Router DOM has been installed, added 5 packages. I'm going to paste the installation code for, oh my god, did I just copy this? Okay, I'm going to recopy once more and paste the installation code here for React Toastify, and then our Axios, do the same thing, copy the installation code and paste it once this has been installed. React Toastify has been installed, so I'm going to paste this as well. So we have those 4 packages installed. We're going to check our package.json, and you're going to see Tailwind CSS check, Axios check, React icons check, React Router DOM check, React Toastify check. So we've installed all the necessary packages that we're going to use for this project. Next up is to build our pages, components, context, and our asset folder, which is this is our asset folder here. We need to copy and paste all the images that we're going to use for this project. So I'm going to copy all the images that we have here. This is all the images that we're going to use for this project, and I'm going to copy it into the asset folder. Yeah, replace. So I've copied all the images. Okay, and also I have a file that I've created for all the assets, so we'll be going through it together. I've imported all the images that I copied here. This is what we're going to be using, and here we have our category item, an array of objects containing all the categories and their images. So the first object that we have here is the category title, which is all. Category image, the image is here, and I've imported the image right here. Okay, second object that we have in this array of category item is the category title for fruits and vegetables. We have the image as well. Third one here, dairy products, the image. Fourth category, meat and seafood, the image as well. Fourth category, bakery items, the image as well. Fifth, pantry staples, and the sixth one is frozen foods. Now I've created an array of objects for each of the products that we're going to showcase in this front end before we start getting products from backend. Okay, so this is an array of objects that consists of all the objects. So each object here represents an a product, a grocery item, with their ID, the name, description, price, the image, category, and the date. Okay, I have like several groceries. I have several objects representing each of them. I have about 12 of them. So this is what we have in our asset folder. The link will be in the description box so that you can have access to it. So that is what we're going to use. I'm going to close this now. Then we can now continue. So in our source folder, we're going to create our pages, component, and context. So I'll create a new folder here and I'm going to name it component. I'll create another folder in the SRC folder. I'll name it pages. I'll create another folder as well and I'm going to name it context. So in the component folder, we're going to create several files. The first file will be for the navbar. Next is going to be our hero section, then the footer, then our grocery collection and cart total. So let's get to it. Hero.gsx. Okay, we'll use this to create React snippets, REFC. This is for hero section. Then we'll create the file for our navbar. Navbar.gsx. REFC to create React snippets. I'll close it as well. We'll create another file for footer.gsx refc. Then we'll create another file for grocery collection.gsx refc to create React snippets. I'll create another file for cart total.gsx. Okay, refc as well. Okay, so now that we're done creating our components, we're going to create our pages as well. So I'll create a new folder for the home page. So I'll give this home page.gsx refc, and in the home page as well, I would create the login page, login.gsx refc. I would create the checkout page, checkout.gsx refc. Okay, and also a new file for the orders page, order.gsx refc. And lastly, I'll create the cart page. So here we're going to have cart.gsx. Okay, and we'll do the same, refc here. Okay, so we've created all our pages. This is so I'm going to close this now. So the next thing we need to do now is to set up our routes. So I like to start with the main.gsx. I'll delete the strict mode that we have here. And just turn this into a comment, control /. And here we're going to use browser router. I'll close this. And then I'm going to cut this, Ctrl X, and I'll paste it in between the browser router. Now we need to import our browser router. So we're going to have import browser router from React router DOM here. Select React router DOM. Then we're going to set up our route in our app.gsx. I'm going to cut this. So the first thing we need to do is to render our navbar. And we're going to import it. Import navbar from ./component/navbar. Okay, so we're rendering the navbar first because the navigation bar is going to be present in all pages. So that is why we have the navigation bar first. Then we're going to set up our routes now. So we'll start with the routes with an S. And then we'll render the route without an S. I'm going to close this first. Then we set the paths. This will be /, and we're going to render elements would be in a curly braces. We're going to render home page here. So here we're going to have the home page. I'll close this as well. We need to import this routes, right? So we would import routes with an S. comma, route without an S from React Router DOM. So we're just going to select React Router DOM. So now this route, the path is / and the element here is the home page. So this path will lead us to the home page. And also next route will be for the login. So I'm just going to type, let's go. Oh no, not here. Okay, so routes, close this as well. And here we'll have the path / login, and the element that would render here would be for the login page. So I'm just going to render login and I'll close this. I'm going to import all of this later. So now the next route will be for our cart. So route, close this. The path will be / carts. The elements here will render our cart page. And I'm going to close this now. And now for our checkout page as well. So here, routes, the path / checkout, elements, checkout page. So checkout, we'll close this. And next to be for our orders page, I will not import routes. We'll close this, and within this we'll have the path for orders / orders, elements will be orders, our order page. Now we need to import all of this. So the best thing is just to copy this now. So the login is a page, the home page, the card, everything is a page. So I'm not going to use what I copied. So I'm going to import home page from / pages / home page. Now I'm going to copy this now that I can use and just edit a little. So this is going to be for carts. Control D. I'm just going to change this to carts. I didn't use this because there's a component here and what we want to render is a page. So next, Control D as well. This will be for login. Next one will be for our checkout page. Control D, checkout. And the last one I think will be for order. Control D, order. Okay, I guess that is what we have. We have imported for home page, login, cart page, checkout page, order page. Okay, so what you should be seeing in your browser is the navbar that will be at the top of all pages and the home page. Let's render our footer that will be at the bottom of all pages. So I'll open this app.jsx once more. After the routes, I would render the footer components. I'm going to import it. So I'm just going to copy this because it's in the components. I'll paste the navbar again, but I'm going to do Control D, and here we're going to have footer. So now this is what we're going to have: navbar, home page, and the footer. Okay, so let's work on our navigation bar. So we're going to close this now, and in the components we'll open our navbar. All right, so I'll delete this and I'll create the nav tag. I'll use nav tag. In the nav tag, we'll have a div tag. We're supposed to have two div tags. So this is Ctrl Z, two div tag. The first div tag would link us. I'll use link from React Router DOM to our homepage. Okay, so I'm going to have an h2 tag here, and it's going to take this text, grocery shop. That is like our logo. The link will lead us to the home page. So I'm going to set the path, so the path to the home page, which is the same path with this, right? So back here, then the second div tag will be for our lists. So the first list item will link us to our login. So the first link will be for login, second will be for others, third will be to log out, and the fourth will be for cut. So I'm just going to have like a p tag, four p tags. All right. So the first one will be login. Second will be others, which is going to lead us to our others page. The third will be for logout, and the fourth one is going to be for our cards. Right now, this one that is going to link, we'll use link tag. So here I would have link tag, close this. So it has imported a link from React Router DOM. I'm going to paste, I'll copy this and paste it in between the link tag. So this login link will lead us to, should be in lowercase, will lead us to, this is equal to, did I delete something? Yeah, I think I did. Okay. Okay, so this should lead us to our login. Okay, ensure that the parts here matches with the parts that you have in app.gsx. So this matches. Next link, we'll do the same thing. Link. Okay, I'll cut this, Ctrl X, and I'll paste it in between the link tag. And this should lead us to /others. The best thing is just to come and copy the text if it's something that you think you're going to have an error. This will be for logout. We are here to work on the logout function. Okay, we'll get back to this. And this will be for our carts. Okay, so for the carts, we'll do the same thing. Link, close this. Then I'll cut this and paste it here. And this will lead us to /carts. And it's the same thing that we have here, carts. Okay, so in front of the carts, we have the carts count. So we use a span tag for that. For now, I'll set it to 0. When we have the function that is going to undo carts count, we're going to reset it. So let's see what we have in our navigation bar now. So right now, this is what we have. The logo, the link, you can see this is leading us to the login page. This is supposed to, this, if you click on grocery shop, it will lead us back to the home page. If I click on login, login page. If I click on others, others page. If I click on logout, nothing is working because we're here to write any function. If I click on carts page, right? This is the carts count. If I click on this again, you can see what we have. Grocery leading us to the home page. If I click on login, leading us to the login page. Others leading us to the others page. Carts leading us to the carts page. So this is working now. Let's style. So let's style. In our nav bar, we'll have our class name. Display would be set to flex. Justify content between. Padding should take 1.5 RAM. Border at the bottom, we'll set it to 2. And the border color, border bottom, we'll set it to gray, 300. Okay. Now for the H2 tag, we'll style as well. Text will be 2XL. And we'll set the font to bold. Okay. Now for the div tag that is wrapping up all the links, we'll style it as well. Display would be flex. We'll set a gap of 6. Then for each of the p tags, so let's start styling the first one. If you hover on it, we want to have a border at the bottom. So border at the bottom, we'll set it to 2 as well. If you hover as well, the border bottom color should be gray, 400. Okay, and the text, the size should be XL. So I'm going to copy this class name that we have here, and I'll use it in every other p tag. This is going to take the same thing. This will take the same thing, and this will take the same thing. Now for the logout, let's change the color to red to show the user that they're about to log out. Right. Now for this carts count, we're going to style it as well. So class name, the background color should be red, 600, rounded, full. py will be 2, px should be 4, and the text color should be white. Now let's see what we have. Okay, so we have this leading us to the home page. We have all these links here. If you hover on this, you can see that the color of the border is red. For every other one, they are gray, but for this, and this is our cards count here. Now let's get on with the home page. So in our home page, the first thing we're going to see is the hero section, followed by the category list, then the grocery list before the footer. So let's get to the hero section. So we'll close this, and now I'll close this as well. Then I'm going to open the hero section. So our hero section will be in the home page. So I'll come right here and render the component hero right here, and I'm going to import it as well. So I'm going to import hero from // component / hero. Okay, so if we check here now, you can see that we have hero now. So I'm going to close this home page. Now let's continue with our hero section. In the hero section, we're going to use this image here, this hero one. We'll use this image here that we have. Okay, so we need to import the image. Why does this keep closing? Okay, we're going to import it as our background image. So I'm going to have it as import. The name I'm giving it in this component is bg image from // asset / the name of the image in our asset folder is hero1.jpg. So we're going to have it like that, hero1.jpg. Okay, now let's get to work. This is the first div tag. Then we'll have another div tag. Then we'll have our h2 tag, which is going to take the first text. We'll have the second tag, h1 tag. Then we'll have the button. Okay, so for the h2 tag, it's going to take this text, shop smarter, eat fresher, and the h1 tag will take this text with a break in between. Start your grocery journey now. And the button will take shop now. Okay, so let's start. Right now we're here to use our background image, right? So let's start. We're going to use it in our styling. So we'll have our class name. Position here will be relative. The height we take 90 VH. We'll set the width to full. Background cover. Background should be at the center. Background no repeats. And now we're going to introduce the background using style tag. We'll have another curly braces and we'll call background image. We'll have our quotes here, our colon, not quotes, I meant colon, and we'll use the backtick. Then we'll have our URL, open our brackets, use our $, open our curly braces, and we'll use our background image that we have imported. This background image that we have here. Okay, so for the next div tag, we'll style it as well. Class name, the position as well will be relative. Z index, we'll set it to 20. Display would be flex. Flex direction should be colon. We want all items at the center, so item center. Justify all the content to the center as well, so justify center. Text color should be white. And then we want to have px padding and x-axis should be 4. Now for the h2 tag that we have here, we'll style this as well. Text size should be large, text LG. On the medium screen, text should be 6XL. Margin bottom should be 4. Tracking widest. And we want all the text uppercase. So right here, this should be 4XL. That was a mistake. Now for our H1 tag, we'll style it as well. Class name, the text will be 4XL. And on a medium screen, the text should be 6XL. Text 6XL. We'll set the font to bold. Font bold. PY, I'll set it to 3. PX will be 6. Rounded. No. That's a mistake. Okay. We don't need padding here. So I'll set the margin bottom to 6. And this will be uppercase. Okay, now we'll style the button. But right here, we have a little. So flex direction colon. Okay, so correct this. So we'll style this class name. Background color would be green. 400. Text color, we'll set it to black. The font will be bold. Font bold. PY will be 3. PX will be 6. Border radius will be large, so that's why we have rounded LG. And if you hover on it, the background color will be green. 500. So if we check our browser now, this is what we have. Okay, so there's one thing I want to do in the entire body of this project. I want to set a padding inline. We're going to do that now. So all I'm going to do now, let me close this asset so that we can access other pages easily. In our index.css right here, I'm going to have the body tag, and in the body tag I want to set the background color. So here, background to this color code, and I'm going to have a padding inline of 50 pixels. Okay, and for, let me add the space here. Now for all the links, I'm going to set the color to this color code. Text decoration will be none. Okay, so this is what we have now. This is looking all good. So in our own page, another thing that we're going to have now is our category. So I'm going to close index.css, close the hero section as well. Then I'm going to open this grocery collection here. So right here, I'm going to delete this. Then I'll create a div tag. In this div tag, I'll create 3 div tags. So we'll have div times 3. The first one will be for our header. So we're going to have an h1 tag here. And it will take this text. After this h1 tag, we'll move on to the next div. I'll add a space. So right here is where we're going to have our category item selection. So first we need to import the category item from our asset folder that we have here. So I'm just going to copy this, then head back here. So here I would import, open curly braces, category item from / asset folder / assets. And next thing I'm going to do is to create a state variable that is going to store our category and a setter function to update our category. And by default, we're going to set the category to all. So here we're going to have const, open our braces, category, setter function, set category, use states will be all. So by default, we're setting this to all categories. So now we can now work on this. I'll create a div tag. In this div tag, we want to list out our category items. So I'll use a UL tag. In the UL tag, we're going to map over the category item to display each of the category titles and their image. So we're going to have our curly braces, so category item dot map. Open our brackets, we'll pass item and their individual index number. Then we'll create our function. So in the function, we're going to list the item. So we'll use an li tag. Okay, and in the lists, we're going to have the image and the p tag. So I'll have an image tag here, and I'll have the p tag as well here. Okay, so before doing all of this, for each of the list item, we're going to pass a key to uniquely identify each of them. And we'll use the index number that we've passed here. Okay. Then we want to ensure that when the user click on the lists it displays the item that matches with the category item. It displays groceries that matches with the category item. So we're going to use an onClick method. Then I'll create an arrow function here. So we want to update the category when the user clicks on the list. So here we'll pass previous category as the parameter. And now let me close this so that we can have a larger screen. We're going to do a little conditioning rendering here. We want to check if the previous matches with item dot category title. We'll use our ternary operator. Then it should display all category. If it doesn't, it should display the item dot category title. It should display the item that matches with the category title. So that is that. We'll style later. So for the image that we want to display in our lists, we're going to set the image, and it's going to take item.category image. And for the p tag, it's going to take item.category title. Item.category title. We want to display the title, right? So we have it right here. So in the array of item for category items, each of them we have category title and we have the category image. We have image representing this, we have image representing this. This is the category title here, fruits and vegetables, as one of the categories of our grocery. So this is for category right here. Now our grocery collection would be mounted in our own page because that is where we want it to be displayed. So we'll open our pages, back to our own page. After the hero section, we're going to mount our grocery collection here. So if we check our page now, this is what we have. This image is representing all category. The second image for fruits and vegetables. The third image for dairy products. This is the category image, the category title, the category image, the category title, category image, category title, category image, category title. Okay, so let's style this now. So we'll head back to our grocery collection and we'll start styling. We'll start by styling the first div tag. We'll have our class name. Margin top will be 50 pixels. So I'll set margin top to 50 pixels. Now for this div tag that we have here, for this div tag, we'll have our class name. Border bottom will be 2. We'll set border B to 2. And the color border bottom will be gray, 300. And the margin button will be 8. Now for the H1 tag itself, the text will be 2XL. And margin button, we'll set it to 4. And the div tag that we have here, display would be flex. Flex direction will be colon. We'll set a gap of 6. For the list, display will be flex as well. The gap will be 6 as well. For each list item that we have here, for each of the list item, we're going to style it as well. So let's style here. We'll have our class name. We want to have 2 different styling. So I've opened my curly braces and a backtick. So this first one will be for the general styling. The minimum width, I'll set it to 150 pixels. And we'll set the padding to 3. Border radius around this will be XL. We want a shadow. And the background color would be white. Display would be flex. Flex direction will be colon. Items will be at the center. And cursor, we'll set our cursor to pointer as usual. And if you hover on it, we'll set the scale to 105. Okay, so this is for, then we're going to have a conditional styling. So I'll use this and this. Okay, so we're using a ternary operator to style this. We want to check if the category, if the user clicks on it and the category is on an item that matches with the category title, we want to display a certain color for the text, and if it is not, we want to display a certain color for the text as well, the category text. So here we're going to have category, if category matches with item dot category title, then we want to have text color green 500. If it isn't, then the text should be gray 700. Okay, next thing we need to style now is the image. So for the image, we'll set the width to 22, the height will be the same thing, 22, object feeds contain, and we'll have a margin bottom of 2. Then for the category title, where we have the p tag, we'll style this as well. The text should be small, the text size, and the fonts will be medium, and the text should be at the center. So this is what you should have on your screen. Since we're here by default, we're selecting all. So the text color is showing green. If I click on this, the text color will show green. If I click on this, if I click on this, if I on this, if I on this, if I on this. Okay, but by default, this is what we have. Now the next thing we need to do now is to display our. So now back to our code. I'm going to, let me close this asset folder here. Okay, so now we want to display our products in our grocery collection, but before that we need to create a file for our context. So basically the context is used to share data across components without prop drilling, and we're going to use it for our products and cards in this context. So for the product context, we use it to share and manage product data across our entire application, and for the cards we use it to manage card state globally, so add items, quantity, total price, and all of that. So the context, let me create a new file, and I'm just going to name it shop context.gsx. So context basically provides a centralized accessible site for products, cards, etc., and it reduces props drilling and enable us to use real-time data. So if we have product here, if we have cards here, we can always use them without props drilling. So you're going to see that in action now. The context, we're going to start by importing React from React, and then so the next thing we're going to do now is to create the context for the shop, which would be used to provide global state. So because we're going to use shop context elsewhere, so we use export consts, create shop context, and we use create context. Okay, so after this we're going to import the product data from our asset folder right here. So here, this is the product. In shop context, we're going to import, open our curly braces, products from asset file. Then the next step would be to create the context provider component. So we're going to have const shop context provider will be equal to, we'll create a function. Okay, in this function we'll pass a parameter, and it's going to be the children. So in our shop context provider component, we're going to create the state that will store all our products. We're going to write our functions, create state to store items in the cart, and all of that. But before that, we need to export the shop context provider. So we're going to export default shop context provider. Okay, so we've done that now. We've exported. Then we're going to be providing all state values and function to the children component. So here we'll have return. Open this bracket here, and we're going to have shop context dot provider. So right here I'll pass the children components. Okay, so in the shop context provider, in the opening tag, this is where we're going to provide all state values and function. So right here we'll pass value in the curly braces. Okay, we're going to provide all our state values and function here. So right now we have no values. So the first thing we need to do is to create a state that is going to store all our products. So we're going to have const products, and the setter function to update it, set products, will be equals to use states. By default, we want to use the products that we imported from the asset folder. That is what we want to use. So if you overrun this now, you can see that it has the same thing: the ID, the name, description, price, image, category, and date. And that is the same thing that we have here for each product. So this is storing this. Now we're going to pass the value here so that other components and pages can have access to it. So we're going to have products here. So this is one of the states that we're going to pass here. We're still going to pass functions and all of that. So right here we have products. Now before we can have access to this shop context, we need to ensure that the shop context wraps our entire application. So we'll head to main.gsx, and here we're going to wrap our application. So right here, after our browser router, we're going to have our shop context provider, and I'm going to cut this app that we have here. Let me delete this, and I'll paste it here. Oh, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl X. Okay, I'll paste it right here. So now the shop context provider has wrapped around our application. So now that we have our products in our shop context, we can now display it in our grocery collection. So I'm going to close this, close our main.gsx. Now to the next div tag, which is the last div tag that we have in grocery collections. Before anything, we need to import the products from our shop context. So we're going to head here, then we're going to import shop context. No, not here. We'll come right here. We import products, and to be equals to use context would be shop context. Shop context. So this is not supposed to be import. This is supposed to be const. Okay, products. Okay, so shop context. Then we're going to import our shop context. Import shop context from /context/shop context. Okay, so we're getting the product from shop context. All right. Now we can now use this product now in this div tag, this third div tag that we've created earlier. Now in here, first we need to do something. We need to check the length. We need to ensure that product is available. So we're going to check, we use the ternary operator to check if product's length is greater than 0. Then we want to display the product collection, the grocery collection. If it isn't, we want to display a text that would say no product is available. So that will be the first thing. We'll have our curly braces. So here we're using a ternary operator. Product.length is greater than 0. Use our ternary operator here. Display this. If it isn't, display this. Okay. So we'll start with the if it isn't. That will be faster. we'll have our p tag here. I'm going to close the p tag as well. P tag, and the text is going to be no products available. Okay, if it is, we want to do something, which is this. So if it is available, we're going to map and filter. We want to map over the products array to display each product object, and then we want to filter to ensure that when the user clicks on what we have above, if the user clicks on a title, a category item title, it displays the products that matches with that category item title. Okay, so we're going to have products dots. First, let's filter. We'll pass product as a parameter. Then we'll create our function here. Now, we want to check if category is all, or category is equals to product dot category. Okay, and then we'll map over it as well. We'll pass product as well. Then we'll create our function, open our brackets, and here is where we'll have our display. We'll have our div tag here. I'll close the div tag as well. So for this div tag, it's going to represent each of the grocery items, and it's going to have a key, and the key is going to be product duct dot id. Okay, so this is for each product. We want to display each product after filtering and mapping. Okay, so okay, this is supposed to be product, not with an s, product. That is what we're passing. Okay, so the key will product.id for each product. So what we did here is very simple. This is just the line of code that we need before every other thing, right? So the first thing we did is to check if product.length, if the length of the product is greater than 0, then we want to display this. We want to display each product. Although we're here to complete the code. If it is not, we want to display that no product is available. Now, if it is, we want to filter the products based on category. Okay, if the category is all, display all products. If it is not, display the products that match with that category. Okay, as we have it here in our asset folder, in the product objects, in the product array, for each of the product objects, we have a category. Okay, fruit and vegetable, and we have a category item here that matches with it as well. So that is what we're doing now. Now, for each of the grocery display, for each of the products that we want to display, let us write the code for what it will entail. So first, we'll start with the div tag. In this div tag, we'll have an image. We want to have an image. After the image, we're going to have an h3 tag. After this h3 tag, we'll have a div tag as well. And in this div tag, this is where we'll have the price and our call to action button. Okay, so let me start with the text. The call to action button will have add to cart. Now in the p tag, we would have our price. So the price will be in dollars. So I'm just going to add curly braces product.price dot price. In our h3 tag, we're going to have the product name. So here we're just going to have product dot name. Then where we have our image, we'll turn this to a curly braces product dot image. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, I realized that we have an equal to here. It is not supposed to be. Use context to be short context. That was just the typo error. So if we head back here now, we should have all the products displayed. This is the first product, second, this is the third, this is the fourth, each of them with their name, their image, their name, their price, and a button to add to cart. Okay, so these are like all the list of products that we have so far. Now let's style them. Everything is looking yummy. So let's style now. So now we'll head here. The div tag will have our class name. Oh, it's outside the div tag. It's supposed to be inside. So here, our class name. Display will be grid. Grid template colon. Grid template colon will be 1. On a small screen, grid colon should be 2. And on a medium size screen, grid template colon should be 3. On a large screen, grid template colon should be 4. And we'll set a gap of 4. Justify items at the center. Okay. Now for each of our products, right? We'll start by styling the div tag, which is the container holding each of the grocery items. We'll set the width. Let me have the class name first. Width. We'll set this to 282 pixels. We want a border around it, so border. And the border color should be gray, 300. Padding, I'll set this to 10. I want all the text at the center. Position should be relative. And overflow hidden. I will have a transition. Nah, I don't think I want that. Okay. So when you hover on it, you want to have a large shadow. So shadow LG. Now for the image that we have, so for each of the image, we're going to style them. So we'll have our class name here. The width should be full. Height should be about 260 pixels. Yes, this should do it. 260 pixels. Object fit should be cover. Then for the h3 tag, class name, text is large, font is semi-bold, margin top will be 2, margin bottom will be 3. Now for this div tag here, we'll style this as well. Display would be flex, justify between, items at the center, margin top should be 4, padding will be 2. Now for our price, text size should be XL, font will be bold, and the text color should be gray 800. Then for our button, PX for PY2, background green 400. Text color should be white. If you hover on this, you want to have a background color of green 800. Yeah. And while the transition for smooth transition. So now let's see what we have. Okay, so this is what we have now on our screen. This is looking good. Okay, for the button, we need to add a border radius around it. Okay, so right here, I'm just going to add rounded. Let's see if the border radius will be there. Okay, you can see that we just have a little border radius here. We need space between the category items and the grocery list. So right here, the div tag that is handling this, we'll add a margin top. So I'll do margin top, let's say 4. So this is what we have now. If I click on fruits and vegetables, you can see that only item that matches, that is in this category, will be displayed. If I click on dairy products, only items that are in this category will be displayed. If I click on meat and seafood, only items in this category will be displayed. If I click on bakery items, only items that are in this category. Pantry staples, the same thing. Frozen foods, the same thing. Okay, so if I click on all, you can see that all the items are being displayed. Okay, so this is working perfectly well. Now, next thing we need to work on is to create a function to ensure that when we click on this add to cart button, it adds to the item, adds to the cart page. If you click on cart now, there's nothing here in our cart page. So we want to ensure that when we click on add to cart, a product will be added to cart, and also we can see the number of products that is in the cart. So that will be for the cart count. We can update products, we can delete products, and all of that. So let's do that now. So we're going to close our grocery collection, assets, and home page now, and I'll close this asset folder. Then I'm going to open shop context. So in our shop context, we're going to create the function that will add to cart, update cart, delete cart items, and all of that. So first off, we need to create a state variable that is going to hold our cart items and a setter function to update the cart items. And by default, we're going to have an empty object. So after the state variable that is storing our products and setter function to update products, we're going to have const cart items and setter function set cart items. Use states will be an empty array. And now we're going to create the function that is going to add items to cart. So I'll name the function add to cart, and it's going to be an asynchronous function which is going to take the item ID as a parameter. So we'll have const add to cart will be equal to async arrow function. The parameter will be item ID. So the first step here is to create a copy of the current cart items to avoid directly mutating the states. So we're going to have const updated data, updated carts will be equal to, we'll spread the cart items. Then we'll use an if statement to check if the item already exists in the cart. We want to increase the quantity by 1. Otherwise, if it does not exist, we're going to set the quantity to 1. So we're going to have updated carts. We're checking the item ID. If it's equal to, then we want to update the carts with that specific item ID by 1. So if it already exists or it does not exist, then we want to add 1 to it. So right here, if it exists in the cart, we're increasing it by 1. If it does not exist, that means if the quantity is 0, we want to have the quantity as 1. So the next step now is to update the cart states when the new cart with the new cart data. So we'll have set cart items with updated carts. So let's just log into console to see what we've added. So log in console, product added to cart, and we'll concatenate it with the item ID so that we'll get the ID of the item. So here, item ID. And now if the item has been added to cart successfully, we want to display toast notification that the product has been added to cart. So we're going to have toast dot success. Oh no, toast dot success added to carts. So here, added to carts. We need to import our toast from React Toastify. So right here, I'm going to import toasts from React Toastify. Okay, so to use toast notification properly, we'll open our app.jsx and we'll have our toast container here before our navigation bar. So we're going to have toast container from React Toastify. So let's continue. Now this is the function to add item to cart. Now we'll copy this function here and we're going to add it to our values that other components and pages can have access to. So we've added add to cart here. Next function that we're going to write now is the function to get the total count of items in the cart. So we want to get quantity basically. That is the next function to get the quantity of items that we have in our cart. So I'm going to name the function get cart count, and it's going to be an arrow function. So what we just need to do here is to extract all the item quantities from the carts and sum them up. So we're going to return objects dot values, open our brackets, the cart items. We'll pass cart items dot, we use the reduce method, then we'll pass the total, comma, quantity. We'll create our function here and then we'll get total plus quantity. Okay, so right here we just extracted all the item quantities from the cart and we're summing them up. Now this function as well, let me close this that we have here. We're going to copy this function here and I'm going to add it to the values here because other components and pages will also need to have access to it. Next function is the function to update the quantity of a specific item in our carts. I'm going to name the function update quantity. It's going to be an asynchronous function and we're passing two parameters, the item ID and the quantity. Those are the two important things that we need to update the quantity of a specific item. So we need to get the item ID and the current quantity before we can update. So const updates quantity be an async arrow function. The parameters will be the item ID and quantity. In this function, the first thing we are going to do is to create a copy of the current cart items to avoid mutation of states. So we'll have let cart data be equal to, we are mutating our cart items. Okay, so we are having carts, this should be items, cart items. Okay, let's see. Okay, so there's a typo error, cart items, cart items. Okay, so everything is correct now. So what we just did now is to create a copy of the current cart items to avoid mutation. Then we're going to update the quantity of a specified item in the cart. So we're going to have cart data. We need to get the item ID. Item ID will be equal to quantity. Now we'll update the cart state with the new data. So we're going to have set cart data, set cart items with the cart data. Okay. So after this function as well, we'll do the same thing. We're going to copy this and we'll paste it right here. Next is to create the function to calculate the total price of all the items that we have in our cart. And the name of the function is going to be get cart amount. So const get cart amount will be equal to, it's going to be an arrow function, and we're going to return the object entries, all the item quantities. Okay, basically what we're doing is to extract all the item quantities from the carts and then sum it up to get our total. Okay, so let's do that. We're going to return objects that's entries. We'll have our cart items dot reduce method. We'll get the total amounts, comma, then we'll pass our item ID and quantity. Okay, and we'll open our function. So in this function, we need to find the product details using the item ID from the product array. So we're going to have const item info will be equal to products dot find method. Want to find a particular product based on its ID. So we're going to do products dot underscore ID. Want to check if it matches with the item ID. Okay. So if the product is found and it matches with the item ID, we want to add its price multiplied by the quantity to the total amount. So we're going to return item info. We use the ternary operator here to check if the product is found, if any product matches, if the product details matches with the item ID. Right, that's what we're doing here. If item info, then we want to have total amount plus item info price dot price multiplied by the quantity. And if it is not, we just want to return the total amount. Okay, and right here we're going to pass 0. This is to start the total amount from 0. Okay, so we've written all the necessary functions that we need here. So the next step is to copy this that we have here and we'll add it to these values here. So now that we've created all the necessary functions, we can now create our cart page where we can add all the items that we want to. Where we can display all the items that were added to our cart. So here in our pages, I'll open our cart page. In the cart page, the first thing we need to do is to extract the necessary data that we need from our shop context. We need the products, we need the cart items, we need the function to update quantity. So right here in shop context, we're going to get product. We need to get the cart items. So we're going to add it to the values that we're adding here. We'll add it to these values. I'll add a comma. So in carts, we're going to have const products cart items. The best thing is to copy to avoid typo error. So I'm just going to paste cart items. We need the update quantity function. So add a comma, update quantity, and also we just add equal to here. So use context would be shop context. Okay, so ensure that use context is imported and shop context is imported as well. So we have all the data that we need. Next thing we need to do is to create a state variable that's going to store our cart data. So immediately after this, I'm going to create a state variable and I'll name it cart data, and the setter function to update the cart data. Set cart data. Use states. By default, we'll set it to an empty array. Okay. Then we'll use effects to update the cart data whenever the cart items or products changes. Maybe if there's an update or anything. So we would have use effects. We'll create an array function here. So first we need to check if no product exists, we want to return empty. So just do nothing. So if products dot length method equals 0, return early. So return. And if product exists, we want to check if the cart items is not valid. We want to set the cart data to an empty array. So if not cart items, or the type of cart items is not an object, so it's not an object, then we want to set the cart data to an empty array. So set cart data to an empty array and return instantly. Okay, so After this if statement, the next thing we need to do is to convert the cart items object into an array, if it exists, into an array of the items with the ID and the quantity. So here we have const temp data will be equal to object.entries, open our brackets, and we'll pass cart items dot filter method. Want to filter, comma, so I'm going to delete this. Now Control Z, okay, quantity. Alright, so quantity is greater than 0. So what we basically did here is to filter out the items with 0 quantity. Okay, if we've done that, then we'll now map. So dot map the item ID. We'll pass the item ID and the quantity as parameter. Then we can now assign product ID. So we'll have underscore ID will be item ID, and also we'll assign the quantity, comma, quantity. Okay, so after this we're going to update the state with the transformed cart data. So we're going to have set cart data with temp data, and here we're going to add cart items and products as a dependency array to ensure that it only runs whenever the cart items or products changes. So we're going to have cart items, comma, products. So now that we have all our logic in order, we can now display our UI. Let me close this so that we can have a larger screen. So we'll have a first div tag, and here we're going to have our h2 tag. And the h2 tag is going to say cart items. Then after this div tag, we'll have another div tag, which is where we're going to list our cart items. So right here, we're going to map over the cart data to display the carts, the data in the carts. Let's put it that way. So we'll pass our item and the index number for individual items. Okay, open our curly braces. Now we need to find the product details for the carts that we're about to display, for the items that we're adding to the carts that we're about to display in our carts page. So when we find the product detail of the item that we're about to display on the cart, we are going to store it temporarily in our product data. So I will create a variable product data, and this is going to store what we're about to find. So we'll have products dot find method. We'll pass products. Now we want to check if the product ID matches with the item ID that we're about to display in our cart. Products dot underscore ID equals item dot underscore ID. Okay, so this is supposed to be item, not item. Okay, so that's just a typo error. If it is available, then we're storing it in products data. If it is not, we're going to return null. So we use if statement, if not products data, then return null. Okay, now let's display our cart items, the items that will be in the carts that we're adding from our grocery collections, if we already found the products that matches with the item ID. So we'll have a div tag. In this div tag is where we display each cart items, but for the div tag, each of the cart items will have an index number. So index. Now in this div tag, we'll have another div tag. Create a div tag here. In the div tag, we're going to have the image for the products that we want to display in our cart. And to get the image, we're going to do product data. Product data is what is storing the detail of the product that we're adding to the cart. So that's why we're using product data dot image. After this image, we then have another div tag, which will have two p tags. The first p tag will be for the product name. So here we'll have product data dot name, and here we'll have $, product data dot price. So after this div tag that we have here, I will then create the quantity controller. I'll use the input field, and the type is number. So we'll just look for type number. Okay, so I'll delete this. We need the minimum value to be 1. At least we need to have one product. Okay, and the default value would be item dot quantity. Now we need to, it's a quantity controller. We need to be able to update the products, update the quantity of the product. So we're going to use the update quantity function here, but we'll use an unchanged method because the user is going to be changing value obviously if they want to update quantity. So pass our event. Okay, now we're going to use a ternary operator here to check if the event in this case is updating quantity. Okay, so if the event the target value, the value that we want to update to, is empty, or if the event target value is 0, then we want to return null. If it is not, if it is more than 0, then we want to update the quantity. So here we're going to have e.target.value or e.target. If e.target.value is nothing, or e.target.value is 0, then we're going to return null. So here null. If it is not, we're going to update the quantity. So we'll call the update quantity function, and we'll update the item by the ID, and then we'll convert the update to a number. So here e.target.value. Okay. Now after this input field, the next thing is the delete function. So for this delete, we're going to be using the delete icon from React icon. So we're going to use the delete icon, md deletes from React icon, and I'm going to import it at the top. If you want to get icons, visit React icons. Okay, so right here we need to make this a comment. I don't know where we use this. Products, let's see, products. Okay, what we passed here. Okay. So we're going to turn this into a comment. Now for the delete icon, we are going to import it. Import md delete from React icons /md. Okay. So now in our delete icon, we're going to use an onClick method to ensure that once the user clicks on the icon, the item will be deleted. So here we're going to call the update quantity function as well. But now we're reducing the item, the quantity to 0. So we're going to have item._id, and we're going to pass 0. So that is just what we've done here. Now after this, we need to create our cart total that will be at the bottom. Okay, and also a button that will navigate to the checkout page after we have all our items in the cart, after we've added our desired item in the cart. So we'll have a div tag first, and then we'll have another div tag, and right here we're going to call the cart total I would import that. We already created the page here in our components, cart total. Okay, so we're going to work on that very soon. After the cart total, then we'll have our div tag. The cart total will be the summary. So I will have our button, which will say proceed to checkout. So if the user clicks on this button, it should navigate them to the checkout page. Okay, so because we're going to be using navigate in other parts of this project, I'm just going to come to shop context and then create a variable, call it navigate, const navigate will be equals to use navigate from React Router DOM. And then I'm going to pass the value here. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it right here at the comma. Then in the carts, I'm going to add this to what we're extracting. Okay, now that we have it in shop context, this validate function in shop context, we can use it in other pages just by calling it. So right here in our button, we'll use an onClick method. We'll call the navigate to /checkout. We'll call the paths to navigate. We'll call the paths to checkout page. Okay, if we check our app dots, we have it here as checkouts. Okay, this is the components pages. This is the page that will be displayed if the user clicks on this. It will navigate the user to the checkout. If the user clicks on proceed to checkout, to navigate the user to the checkout page. Now there's something that we've not imported. This is our cart total here. So we need to import cart total from /component/cart total. Okay, so this is where we have our cart total. Now if we check our cart page, the only thing we're going to see is our cart items. We have no items right now because we're here to add anything to cart. And cart total, the button here, proceed to checkout. And you can see when I clicked on it, it navigates to the checkout page. Okay, if I click back here, we're going to see cart items, cart total. If I click on proceed to checkout, it will lead us back to checkout page. Okay, so now before our cart total, the first thing we need to do is to ensure that we can add to cart from grocery collection. Okay, when the user clicks on this button, where is the button here? To add to cart, this particular button, add to cart, they are able to add items to cart. So right here, where we're extracting our products from, we'll also extract add to cart. So I'm just going to come right here, copy this to avoid typo error. In the grocery collection, I'll add it. So where we have the button, we'll use an onClick method here. We'll call the onClick function. Then we'll call our add to carts. We'll create an arrow function and we'll call our add to carts. And we're going to pass products ._ID. So let's see if this is working. This is our cart page now. It's empty. If I head back to the home page and I select this item to be added to cart, I just clicked on add to cart now. We're going to get a notification that will say added to cart. Okay, and if we click on the cart link here, you're going to see it in the cart items. You can see this is the image, this is the name of the product, this is the price, this is our quantity control. We can increase and decrease, and this is the icon to delete from carts. Okay, if I click on this now, this product is no longer in our cart. So let's add like 2 more products to our cart. So I'm going to add this product to cart, this product to cart, and this product to cart. I just added 3 products to cart now, and we have the 3 notifications here that the product has been added to cart, added to cart, added to cart, added to cart. If I click on cart now, this is the first product, the name, the price, the quantity control. This is the second product, the name, the price, quantity control, and an icon to delete. This is the third product that I've also added to cart. Okay, so we have all of these products in our cart now. Next thing is to style the cart page so that this can look presentable. Then we're going to update this. Okay, we're going to use the cart count function here in our navbar to know the number of items that we have in cart. But first, let's style our cart page. So I'm going to close this grocery collection, open the carts page again, close this, then we can start styling. So for our h2 tag, we will start styling class name. The size of the text will be 2XL. The fonts semi-bold, and then margin bottom we'll set it to 4. Then where we have this div tag here, display would be flex direction will be colon. We'll have a gap of 4, and then right here as well, class name, display will be grid calls. We'll have forever underscore 0.5 underscore 0.5 again. Then want all items at the center. We'll have a border on the y-axis, border y, and the border color gray 300. Okay, and the text color will be gray 700. Okay, then we have another div tag here for the image, product name, and price. We'll style it as well. Class name, display will be flex, items starts, we'll have a gap of 6. Then for the image itself, we'll style, the width will be 16, the height will be also, objects cover, then this div tag that we have here, class name, display will be flex direction will be colon. The 2 p tags, so oh come on, okay, let's start. Class name, text size will be XL, and the fonts will be medium. The second p tag, texts will be large, and the text color we would use green 600. Then we have our input field right here. Okay, so let's start here after the default value. So class name, the width will set it to 50 pixels, the height will take 35 pixels, we'll have a border, then border gray 300. The text should be at the center, and the entire self-center. Okay. Then we'll have our button. So for the button, we'll style this as well. The size of this icon, this delete icon, 2XL. Cursor will be pointer. Then the icon itself should be at the center. Oh my god, no. Ctrl Z, self-center, justify self-center, and the color should be red, so that it will be so obvious that they want to delete. Yes. Okay, now for where we have our cut total, this div tag here, style, display will be flex, justify center, margin top will be 20, background color will take white, padding will be 4, and the max width will be XL, and I want everything at the center, so MX also. Now for this div here, we'll have our class name, the width will be full, max width MD. Okay, so for what we have our button as well, the width will be full, the text should be at the end, then the button itself, the background color, let's use green 500, the text color should be white, text should be small, margin top, we'll have it as 8, PY will be 3, that will be the height, and the width will be 8. Want the border radius around it, so rounded, and if you hover on it, hover, the background color should give emerald 500. So if we check now, this is what we have the image, we have the name of the grocery, we have the price, we have this quantity control here, and we have the delete icon. So I can choose to delete this. Now we have just 2 items. Now we need a cart total, so let's work on getting the cart total. So I'm going to open the components where we have cart total. So right here in the cart total page, the first thing we need to do is to extract the values, the function and state variables that we need. So for the cart total, we want to get the summary of our cart. Basically, we want to get the subtotal and the shipping fee. Then we'll have the total currency. We'll display the total amount that the user is going to pay. So in our shop context, because we use delivery fee in other pages, we are going to create a variable that is going to store our delivery fee. So right here, we're going to have const delivery underscore fee would be 12, and the variable here, we're going to add it to the values that we're going to use in other pages. So right here in our cart total, it will be part of what we're extracting from our shop context. So we're going to have const. First, we need the delivery fee. Second, we need the amount, the total amount of the total price that we have in our carts. So that is for get cart amount. That is the job of this function. So copy this and paste it here. So use context will be shop context. Okay, so our use context is shop context. Now we can now start designing our UI. So we need a div tag first for our header. Oh, come on. It should be in lowercase. So here is a div tag. In this div tag, we'll have an h2 tag. And it's going to say cart totals or cart summary. Let's just change it to cart summary. Better still cart totals, since that is easier. After this div tag, we're going to have another div tag. And in that div tag, we create first div. We'll have two p tags. The first one will take this text subtotal. The second will take $, and then we'll call the get cart amount function. That is for the subtotal. Then we'll have an HR tag here. After this, we'll have another div tag that is going to give us the shipping fee and the price. So we're going to, the first text to be shipping fee. The p tag will be $, oh come on, $, and then delivery fee, which is the same thing as shipping fee. Okay, after this div, we'll create another div tag for our actual total after we sum up the subtotal and the delivery fee. So this div tag here, we'll have two bold tags. First will be for total. I want them in different lines. Second will be $, and then get cart amount. We'll call the get cart amount function. So here we're going to use the ternary operator just in case there's an issue. So here, if our cart amount equals 0, Then we want to display 0. If it doesn't, we want to do get cat amount function plus delivery fee. Okay. So now if we check our page, this is what we have now. So let's style this, then we'll now add items to cart again. So we'll start with the first div tag that we have here. So class name, the width will be full, the text color will be gray, text gray 800. The second div tag, margin bottom will be 2, will be 4, yeah. Then for our h2 tag, the text size will be 2XL. Fonts will be semi-bold. Margin bottom will be 4. Then we'll have a div tag here. Class name, text will be base. Let me close this so that we can have a larger screen. Then we have another div tag here. Class name, display would be flex, justify, between. So okay, now for our HR tag, class name, the border will be at the top and the border color will be gray 300. Then we'll have my2. Okay, so right here where we have this div tag for shipping fee, we'll style it as well. Display will be flex, justify, between. And here my will be 2 as well. For the second div, class name, display would be flex as well, justify, between. Margin top will be 4 and the fonts will be bold. Okay, let's see now. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, so let's add items to carts. So I'm going to add this item to carts. I'll add this, add this, add this, add this to carts. And you can see we have 4 notifications that the items has been added to our carts. If I click on the carts page now, the 4 items will be displayed and we can see, we can get the total. Okay, so this is 110, this is 220, this is 200, and this is 100. Okay, if we sum everything up, we're going to get 630. And if we add the shipping fee, which is $12, we're going to get $624. Okay, so this makes sense. Now let's increase. So right now we have $624. So if I increase this by 110, or let's say this is the easiest, by 100, we should get $742. So if I increase this to 2, you can see the price has changed because here the quantity of this is 2. So $100 in 2 places is $200, and if we add it to another $200, it's 400. If we add 400 to 220, we are going to get 620, and if we add it to 110, okay, so if we now add $12 with it, we're going to have $742. So this is working perfectly well. This looks very okay, and we can delete. The price would also reflect that an item has been deleted. It will update instantly. So the next thing we need to do now is the next page, right? So if the user has selected items that they want to add in the carts and they are ready to make payment, and then they click on proceed to checkout, we should design this checkout page. Okay, so right now our checkout page is empty. Let's do that. So we're going to close our carts total, carts page itself, and our app.jsx, and then I'm going to open our checkout page. Okay, so now we're on the checkout. So the first thing we need to do is to create a state variable that is going to store the 2 methods of paying. So we're using 2 methods to pay in the checkout page. We're using cash on delivery, and we're also going to integrate Stripe payment gateway. So const method and a setter function set method will be equal to use state. So by default we want it to be cash on delivery, so COD will be like the short code cash on delivery. And now our very next step is to get values and functions that we're going to need for this checkout. So we need cart items, we need setter function to update our cart items, we need the cart amounts, we need the delivery fee, we need the navigate function, and we need the products. So here we're going to have costs, cart items, setter function, set cart items, the products, we need the get cart amounts to get the total cart amount, get cart amount function, the navigate function, delivery fee be equals to use context, shop context. Okay, so I just remembered something, that the set cart items, I don't think we add it to what we're exporting. Okay, you see, it's just the cart items. We did not add the set cart items to our values that we want other components and pages to have access to. So I'm just going to copy and then add a comma. Okay, so back to this page. So in our checkout page, let me close this. We're going to have input field where users will fill their shipping address, select payment option, and all of that. So first off, we need to create a state to manage the input field data for the shipping address. So we're going to have const form data and a setter function set form data will be equals to use state, and we're going to have an object. We're going to have the first name, and we'll store it as by default it will be empty. We're going to have last name, by default it will be empty as well. We're going to have the email, by default it will be empty. We're going to have street address, by default it will be empty as well. We're going to have city, by default it will be empty. We would have zip code, by default this input field as well will be empty. The input data, we're going to have country, this will be empty as well, and we're going to have phone number, and this as well will be empty. Okay, now that we've created the state variable to manage the form input data for shipping address, we can now set our UI, we can now design this. So we no longer have checkout here, we'll have the form tag. Okay, I'm going to delete this action that we have here. In the form tag, we're going to have a div tag. This will be for the top. In this div tag, we'll have our field sets. And in the field sets, we'll have the legend tag. So where we have our legend tag, we're going to have payment option, after this legend tag. If you have no idea of this legend tag, you can just go back to HTML and learn that. Then we'll have our div tag as well. In this div tag, we'll have another div tag. So we'll have the second div. In the second div, we'll have an image. Okay, we'll have another div again after this, and this will take a span tag. Okay, so this image is going to represent the stripe image, and the span tag will be cash. The text is going to take cash on delivery. So let me just have that here, delivery. Okay, now we have the image. So let's import the image. We're going to import the stripe image from our assets folder. Okay, so this is where we have the stripe logo.png. I'm going to come here and import stripe from /asset/stripe underscore logo.png. So I'll close this, and where we have the image, we're going to replace it with stripe. So here, stripe. Okay, looks good. So this is the first div here is for stripe, The second one here is for cash and delivery. Okay. Then after these two divs, after the entire field sets, we're going to create another div. In this other div, we'll have our H2 tag, and this is where we'll have shipping details. After this div, we'll create another div where we'll have all our input field. So in this first div, we're going to have two input field. Both type are text. We're going to get first name and last name. So I'm just going to have input multiplied by 2. The both types are text. So I want them on different line. So here we'll have placeholder. So for the first one, this first one here will be first name, and the second one will be last name. Then after this, we are going to have the name of the field. So here, the name of this field would be first name. The name of this field as well, or common, will be last name. Okay, so we have the type, the placeholder, the name of the field. Now we need the value that we're going to get from this field, and we need to bind the value with the state variable, with the value that we have in our state variable for form data. So right here, we're going to have value will be form data dot first name. So here value as well will be form data dot last name. Okay, so after these two divs, we'll create an input field for email. So we're going to have inputs for email. So right here, we're going to have the placeholder that would say email address, the name of this field is email, the value will be form data dot email. Then we'll have another input field for phone number, streets. So we'll have input for phone. So here input, and the text, the type is going to be text. So here text. We're going to have placeholder will be phone number. The name of the field will be phone. The value will be form data dot phone. Then we'll have the street address. Inputs. The type will be text as well. Placeholder will be street address. The name will be streets. The value for this will be form data dot streets. Okay. Then we'll have a div tag after this. In this div tag, we're going to have two fields for city and state. So we're going to have input times 2. The first one, placeholder, would be city. The name of the field will be city as well. And we're going to have the value form data dot city. Then for the second input field, the placeholder here will be for state, STATE. The name will be states. The value will be from data dot states. Okay, so there is a first name, last name, email, street, city, zip code, phone, country. We should have states. Okay, so we're going to have states here. Okay. So after these two inputs as well, we're going to have another div tag where we are going to have two more input fields for zip code and country. So we'll have a div tag inputs times 2. First one, placeholder will be zip code. Placeholder, yeah, zip code. Name will be zip code. Value from data dot zip code. Then right here, the last input field, which is going to be for country. Placeholder will be country. The name will be country. The value will be from data dot country. Okay, so after these fields, would now create. So after we've closed the div tag here, the two div tags, we'll create another one. And here is where we'll have our cat total, which we are yet to import. So I'm going to import it here. So we're going to import cat total from /component/cat total, so that we can have our cat total. After the cat total, we'll have another div tag on the right where we'll have the button, and the button will say place order. Okay, so right now this is what our page is looking like for each of these fields. This is what our page looks like. Now let's style. So before styling, there's something that we need to do. Okay, so we have two payment method here. We have for Stripe and we have for cash on delivery. Okay, so now I want to ensure that once the user clicks on this image, there is a certain background color that we want to display. So right here, where we have our div tag, oh, come on. Where we have the div tag, we'll use an on-click method. Then we'll call our set method to update that this is Stripe. So since we're on Stripe now, on click method, we want to update that one Stripe. And now if we style this, we want to start the styling from here. We're still going to do the rest. We'll start with the backtick. Display will be flex, items, center. We want the border. Oh, come on, there should be space. Okay. And the border color, border gray, 300. Padding will be 6. Rounded LG. Okay. No. A border gray 300. Yes. PX will be 20. PY will be 4. The PX is for the width. PY is for the height. Want the border radius, just a small one. Cursor will be pointer. Okay, then here is where we'll have our conditional styling. So we're going to check if the method, we use a ternary operator here. If the method is Stripe, which it is because we've already updated the set method here, we want to display background color green in quotes. Background color green 500. If it is not, display nothing. Okay, we'll do the same thing for this payment method for cash on delivery. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this here and I'm going to paste it here. But we're going to do a little tweaking here. Payment sets the payment method to cash on delivery, COD. And now we're using the same styling right here. If the payment method is cash on delivery, the background color, what is this? Let's see. Okay, so this is double. It's not supposed to be. The background color should be green. The texts should be black. Okay, no. The background color should be green. If it is not, the text here should be black. Let's see. Okay, so let's see. For now, this is what we have. If we're on Stripe, we want a green background color. If we're on Cash and Delivery, we want a green background color. Okay, we can now start styling fully. We'll start with our form. Class name. Display will be flex. Flex direction row. What a gap of 24. Padding top will be 8. Minimum height of 80 VH. We'll have a border at the top, so border top, and the border color gray 300. Then we have this div tag here. Style this as well. Display is flex. Flex direction is colon. We'll have a gap of 4. The width will be full. Max width will be 650 pixels. Then for the field set as well, we'll style this. Border will set it to border color gray 300. Padding will be 6. We want the border radius around it, rounded LG. Now for the legend tag, the text should be at the center. Text size 2XL. Then we have the span tag here. Class name. Text will be small. Text color will be white. Now we're going to remove this text color white. Yes, text will be small, but let's make it bold. Font bold. Okay, so after this we have an H2 tag here. We'll have our class name. Margin top will be 6. The H2 tag itself, class name, text 2XL. Margin bottom will be 4. Okay, then we have this div here. Class name. Display will be flex. We'll have a gap of 4. Okay. So this div here has 2 input fields. We have another div here with the same thing. We have another div here with the same thing. So I'm just going to copy this styling and I'm just going to paste it where we have something similar. Okay, so this div has 2 input fields. This has 2 input fields. Okay, now. So for each of the input field now, we're going to style. So I'll start with the first field. So we'll have class name. We'll have a border. And the border color, border gray 300. Rounded PX for PY3. The width we take 95%. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to copy what we have here and then paste here. Do the same thing 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 here. Same thing, same styling, same styling. Then we have this div here. So we have a class name. The width will take 480 pixels. Okay. Then we have this div tag here as well. So class name, text will be right. Margin top, we'll set it to 8. this button, the type is submit. So type submit. Okay, so let's style class name. The background color will be green, 500. The text color will be white. Text white. The width will be full. Py will set it to 3. Text base, rounded MD. So right now this is what we have. Okay, this does not look all good. This needs to be flexed. So right here, okay, we did not style this deep here, so that is why display would be flexed. We'll have a gap of 8 and a margin top of 2. So let's see, this is what we have now, looking all good. Okay, so here the width is not aligned, so we need to adjust the width for the email, phone number and street address. So those 3 fields, where do we have them? These are the 3 fields here. Okay, so here instead of having 95%, let's use 100. So let's see. Okay, as you can see, okay, we didn't miss nothing. So you can see that this is looking all good. Whichever payment method, we've not actually written the logic to pay with either Stripe or cash on delivery because we're here to work on our backend, right? So we're going to do that. Guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe. Kindly drop a comment. I want to hear your thoughts on this project and the project you want me to build next. I promise I will try my best to work on it as soon as possible and post it on this platform. So right here we have our checkout page. So there's still another function that we need to write. Okay, we need to undo changes in our input field and update our form data states. So we need to write the function that is going to undo changes. As you can see, if I type this in, nothing is actually saving. Okay, so let's do that. So at the top here, after the form data, I'm going to create a function that will undo the changes in our input field, and I'm going to name the function on change handler. So I'm going to call it on change handler. It's going to be an asynchronous function, and I'm going to pass event as the parameter. In this function, the first thing we need to do is to extract the name attribute of the input field that will trigger the event. So we're going to have const name will be equal to events dot target dot name, and also we need to extract the current value of the input field. So const value will be equal to events dot target dot value. After this tree extraction, we need to update the state, which is form data, while preserving our existing value. So we're going to set form data is what we're using to update the state, right? Data. Then we'll create another function here. Then we'll keep the previous form data to update only the fields that can be changed. So we're going to spread this data, comma, we'll pass name, value. Okay, this is looking all good. Now we're going to use this on change handler in our fields so that it will undo changes, any changes that will be made in any of our input fields. So we're going to start with the first input field that we have here. So we'll use an onChange method, then we'll call the onChange handler function. So this is going to undo the changes that will occur when the user is trying to type a new first name. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this onChange handler here, and I'm going to paste. Okay, so this, I'll call it here, I'll call it here, I'll call it here. This will undo all the changes that our user is going to make, and we're still going to preserve our current value. So if we check back now, previously when we tried that, when we tried to type, there was nothing. You can see that the last name is empty, the first name is empty, this last name is currently empty because the field is empty. We have typed, but it's yet to be preserved on this page. So now if we type this, really, you can see baby, you can see. Let's just use sample 2. You can see phone number, street address, city, state, zip code, country. Okay, so this function is working perfect. Now, after this checkout page, the next thing we need to build now is to place order, right? So once order has been placed, if the user chooses Stripe, it will lead us to the checkout page, and if they choose cash on delivery, it will lead us, the order will be made, and it will lead us to the orders page. Okay, so we're going to do that after we already have all the functions that is going to undo payment with Stripe. We're getting to that very soon. So now, the next thing on our list is our login form. We need to create our login and sign up page, so that when the user clicks on login, no thanks, they would see a form here at the center where they can log in, and then they can start placing order, accessing order, paying, and all of that. So we're going to close our checkout page and shop context, and we'll open the login page. Let me close this asset. Now I'm going to open the login page. So for the login page, we're going to first create a state variable that is going to store the current state and a setter function to update the current state. So we want to create the login and sign up page in one page. So we're going to have const current state, setter function set current state, and by default the state will be login. And then we're going to create a state variable for name, email, and password, and a setter function to update them. So we're going to have const name set name, and by default we'll set it to an empty string. We'll do the same thing for email. Email set email, use state would be an empty string as well. Then we'll have for password, setter function set password, use state would be an empty string as well. So now that I've created all the state variable and setter functions, we can now create our login and sign up form. So we'll start with the form tag. I'll delete this action here. Inside the form tag, we're going to have a div tag for the header. This will be the first div tag, and the display for this p tag here will be our current state, which is, for now, our current state is only login. So here we're going to have current state. After this div tag, we want to have 3 inputs, but in the login form we only want to have 2 inputs, which is for email and password. For the sign up state, we want to have the full name, the email, and the password. So first we're going to check if current state, we'll use a ternary operator to check if current state is not equals to login states. Then we want to display, we're going to display this, which is going to be our inputs field. Input, the type will be text, the value will be name, and we'll have a placeholder as well for full name, and it's going to be required. Okay, so let me close this so that we can have a larger screen. It's going to be required. So if the current state is not login, we're going to display this input field, but if it is login, then we're going to display the other 2 input field, which is for email and password. So input for email, we're going to have the value, which is going to be email, this state variable here, is what is going to hold the value for this input field. Okay, and then we're going to have our placeholder. That's what we want to display, email, and it's also going to be required. Then the next input field will be for password. So the type here will be password. The value as well that is going to hold will be password. Placeholder will be password as well. And it's also going to be required. So if it is not login state, it's not going to display the full name, the input for full name. But if it is login state, it's going to display email password. Okay, so if it's not login state, it's going to display the three: the full name, email, and password. Now after this, we'll have another div tag. In this div tag, we'll have a p tag. So this p tag is for forget password. We'll add a question mark. After this p tag, we also want to display something else. Okay, so what we want to display basically is to either create account or login. So we're going to use the state as well to check. If it is on login state, then we want to display create account, which is going to display everything relating to the states, the other states, which is going to be sign up. But if it is not on login states, it's going to display login here. Okay, so we'll use a ternary operator to do that. So now we'll check if current state equals login. Then we're going to display this. If it is not, we're going to display whatever will be in here. Okay, so for the first one, we're going to display a p tag, and the p tag is going to say create account. If it is not, we're going to display another p tag, and this is going to say login here. Okay, so for each of these p tags, we'll have an onClick. We'll call an onClick function, and then we'll call the set current state function to set the state to sign up. So this will set the state to sign up. We'll do the same thing here. When the user clicks on this, we'll use an onClick function. We'll call set current state, in this case, so the login state. Okay, the login state is going to display the email and password. The sign up state will display email, password, full name, and also login here. Okay, so now after this div tag, we're now going to create the button, and our button is a submit type. So submit, and the button is going to display text based on the state. So we're going to use the ternary operator as well to check if the current state is login. Then we'll display sign in. If it is not, we'll display sign up. Okay, so this is what we have. Now let's see what we have on the screen. Okay, so right now this is what we have. Our state here is login by default, so it's going to display login, and we have just two inputs, email and password. You see, as I click on, if I click on login here, it's going to display the login. If I click on create account, it's going to display the sign up state, which has the full name, email, and password. If I click on login here, you can see we have just two input fields, and if I click on create account, it will lead us to the sign up state. So this is working. Now we need to style. So we'll start by styling from the div tag. So we'll start with this form tag. Class name, display will be flex direction, colon, items at the center. The width, we'll set it to 90%, and we'll set our max width, and we want everything at the center. So MX also margin top, we'll set it to 14. We'll have a gap of 4. the text color should be gray 700. Then where we have this div tag here, class name, display will be inline flex, items at the center. We'll set a gap of 2.5, margin top of 10. Then we have a p tag here. The text size will take 1.8 rem, and the font width will be semi-bold. Now for the input field that we have, we're going to style this as well. The width will be full, px3, py3, border, the border color, border gray 300, and then I want to have a small border radius around it. Okay, then the div tag that we have here, we have a div tag here, so we'll style this as well. Display will be flex, justify, between, the width will be full, text size, the margin top will be negative. Then for the p tag that we have for forget password, so class name, cursor will be pointer. If you hover on it, we want an underline, and the text size should be XL. Then the p tag for both states, cursor will be pointer as well. Pointer, the text color will be blue 600. Text size, and if you hover on it, we want an underline as well. Okay, so I'm going to copy this class name that we have here, and I'll paste it right here. Okay, now we have our button as well that we need to style. Okay, so for the button, class name, background color would be black, the text color should be white, the font will be light, py4, px20, which is the width, margin top will be 4. I want the border radius, just a small border radius. If you hover, background color should be, let's use green, 500, and then we'll have a transition. Okay, so there's something else that we need to do for the input field. One thing about the input field is that there will always be changes. User would make a change, an event will occur, and the event that is going to occur in this input field is a click event. The user is going to click on the field and type. So we need to update this field whenever our user types. So we're going to work on that now. Let's see what we have. Okay, we're here to style the email and password. Okay, so where we have the full name, we're going to be using the same styling as the styling in the full name field. So I'll paste this here and I'll paste this here. Let's see. Okay, so this is what we have now. Okay, and if you hover, so if we try to type now, there's nothing going on because we are yet to bind our own click event. So let's do that. So right here, after the value name, we would use onChange. That is, if the user make a change, then we'll pass events. Then we want to update the state, set name with e.target.value. Okay, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste this here. But this, we want to update the email field, and for password as well, we're going to do the same thing. We want to update the password field. So this is going to be set password. So if we type now, if we type sample, you can see sample at gmail.com. We can have like a random password here. Okay, so this is the login state, right? If I click on create account, we're going to see the sign up state. The full name, the email will remain there, and the password will remain there. So our login form is working perfectly well. Next thing we need to build now is our footer. So I'm going to close our pages, close shop context, and we're going to create our footer. So for our footer, we're going to delete this. Okay, so we'll have a div tag. I'm going to create a div tag. And in this div tag, we'll have 3 div tags. So the first one will be for, no, we'll have 4 div tags. Not for, the div tag will be after this. Okay, so this first one here will be for the brand identity. So here we'll have an h1 tag, we'll have a p tag, and then we'll have one div tag. In the div tag, we'll have an h2 tag. Then we'll have another div tag for our links. In this div tag, we'll have 3 a tags. Okay, so this is the first div tag here. This is for the brand. The h1 tag will take this text, and the p tag will take this text. Then the h2 tag will take this text. Then for the link tag, the anchor tags, Ctrl Z. Okay, so I want to separate the anchor tag so that it will be on different lines. So I'm going to use hash here. Hash here, you can replace this with the link to the social media. So here we're going to have the social media icon here. So this is going to be for Facebook. We're going to have for Instagram, and then for Twitter, which is X, Instagram. Then we'll have for Twitter as well. Ctrl Z. Okay. FA Twitter. Okay, so after this, we're now going to have, we're going to import all these icons later. Okay. Then for the second div tag, which is going to be for links, we're going to have an h2 tag. Then we're going to have a list of items. So let me add a space here. Okay. So we'll have an h2 tag. Then we'll have another list with 4 list items. Okay, so the first list item will be home, the second will be shop, the third will be categories, and lastly we'll have contacts. Then for the third one, we're going to have an h2 tag as well, and it will take this text, contact us. Okay, so we mixed here. This is supposed to be quick links. Okay, so after this h2 tag, we're going to have a ul tag as well. Then we're going to have 2 list items. Okay, so the first one will take the phone icon, FA phone. Okay, and the second link, the second list will take this FA. This is for support email, so we'll use this icon. Then we'll have the phone number and the support email. So we'll have the phone number here and the support email here. Okay, so this is for the links. Now for the last div, we're now going to have a text. So here we're going to have the copyright. So for copy, and we want to use the current date. So we use new dot date method dot get full year. Okay, this is supposed to be new dates, not new dot dates. New dates get full year, and here we have grocery shop. Okay, full stop. All rights reserved. You can add more to the footer if you want, but this is the simple footer that we're using. Now we need to import all the icons. So we're going to have it here. Let me close this so that you can see it properly. This is for Facebook. This is for Instagram. This is Instagram. This is Twitter. It's for everything basically. So here F is missing. Okay, so we've imported it from React icon /FA. So this is a simple footer that we have now. Now let's style this so that it's going to look more presentable. So we'll start with this div tag that we have here. Class name px6 py 10, margin top will be 5. Then we have a div tag here, max width 7xl. We want everything at the center, so display will be grid template colon 1, and medium grid cos 3, what a gap of 6. Then we'll have this h1 tag that we have here, class name. Text will be 4xl. The fonts bold, margin bottom will be 2, and for the p tag the text size will be large. Then we have an h2 tag here. Text will be 2xl. The font will be semi-bold. Margin top will be 3. And for the div tag that we have here, display will be flex, items, center, gap of 4. Margin top will be 2. Then for the link, we're going to style the 3 at the same time. So class name, if you hover on it, it should be gray, text gray 300, and the size should be 2xl. Okay, then now we have the quick links section. So we'll start with the h2 tag, class name. Text will be 3xl. Font will be bold, semi bold, yeah, and margin bottom will be, we'll set it to 3. Now for the UL tag, space on Y will be 2, text will be small. Then for the lists, we'll start the 4. Text size should be large. Then we have an h2 tag right here. Text will be 3xl as well. Fonts will be semi-bold. And the margin bottom of this will be 3 as well. We'll have the same styling here. Space Y2. Text here will be large. Then for these lists items, we'll style both. Display will be flex, items, center with a gap of 2. Okay, then where we have this brand, we'll have our class name. Margin top will be 8. The text at the center, text will be small, border at the top, and the border color will be white. The padding top will be 4. We'll have a border at the top. The color would be gray 400. So this is what we have now. This is the footer. It's a very simple footer. Okay, so back to our own page. This is what we have achieved so far. We have our hero section, we have our links. If you click on login, you're on the login page. You can create account, you can log in here. If you click on others, we're here to work on the others. We're going to work on the others after we've created the backend and the admin. After the user has placed the order, it has been sent and saved to the database. Then we can now extract the user's order. Log out as well. When we have written the code for login authentication, then we'll be able to log out. Then we have the cart system, which we have worked on. Okay, so we're missing the cart count in the navbar. So we'll close the footer. Now I'm going to open our navbar. So first thing we need to do is to extract this function const get cart count. That should be the name. Let's check our context. The function to get carts. Okay, so get carts count. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it just in case if there's a typo. So here, use context will be shop context. Okay, and here where we have our cart count as 0, we're going to replace it with the get cart count function. Okay, so if the user add items to cart, we're going to see the number of items that the user has added to cart. So let's test this. So let's see this in action. We're going to add this item to cart. I'll click on add to cart now, and the notification is right here. And now we have one item in our cart. So we've called the get cart count function. I'm going to add this other item to cart. We have a notification. I'm going to add this item to cart. 3 items, 4 items in our cart. If we check the navbar, we should see that we have 4 items in the cart. So if I click on cart now, all of these items are already in the cart. Right now it's showing that we have 4 items in the cart because we have one of these items. If I increase here, you're going to see that it has also been increased here. If I increase, you're seeing that we have 6 items in the cart. If I increase here, we have 7 items. If I increase, we have 8 items. If I delete, we're going to have 6 items. If I delete this, we're going to have 4 items in our carts. Okay, so this is working. We have 3 items in our carts. We have no items in our carts. So this is working perfectly well. So now we need to create our backend. So I'm going to close everything relating to the front end. Then I'm going to right click on the sidebar, create a new folder, and I'm going to name it backend.